All right, let's take a look at the Flippity spelling lists. And when you make a copy of this template, it looks just like this. All right, you have student names across this row 2 here. All right, and then each kid has a different list. Now, you could copy and paste this list so that Elmo and Bert are studying the same spelling words. But when you go to File, Publish to the Web, and grab the link, if you're Ernie, you would click on your name, all right, and you could practice your words. You could take a quiz too. If you did take the quiz and you as the teacher filled out the email results too, you'll actually get an email saying the score that Elmo, Bert, or Grover got on that quiz. All right, what we're going to do instead of these being names here, we're going to put the list titles there. So you might have a week 1 list, a week 2 list, a week 3 list, and we're going to create a drop down so that when whatever you select, that's that list that will be populated based on this selection. All right. So I made my own copy of this spreadsheet, and I added a sheet down here, and I moved it all the way to the right, and it's called lists. And in here, you're going to see these lists of words. All right. And instead of giving these titles like week 1, week 2, I just used emojis. You can use whatever you want. All right. I decided to use emojis. What I want to happen first here is I want to be able to pick a drop down of all those different emojis there. So I'm going to do a data validation for this cell, actually for this entire row. So I'm going to highlight everything here, and I'm going to right click and go to data validation, which you can also get from going up to data and data validation. And I'm going to pick a list from a range. So I'm going to click on this box right here, and it's asking me where am I making this list from? So let's go back over to lists, and let's highlight the entire row over, just because in case I add more lists, I want to make this as easy as possible. All right, I'm going to hit save. All right, now I have these drop-down lists. All right, I could pick orange, I could pick spy guy, and if I add anything else, if I add another list, it'll automatically appear in this drop-down. All right. Now what I want to do, where it says words here, I want to find where the spy guy is in this range, and then filter, I guess, all of this column. All right. Now you can use a horizontal lookup, HLOOKUP, to do this. It's a little tedious. So what I'm going to do is a match index or index match to make this work. And I think whenever you do this, I always break it down into little pieces. The match function equals match tells me, hey, find this in this range. All right. And I'm going to make this go all the way over. So from A1 to Z1, hopefully you don't have more spelling lists than that. So that's going to bring it all the way to the right, at least pretty far. And the last piece here is I want you to find an exact match. So I'm going to put the number 0 in there. All right, and it returns a 1. Now, this means it's in the first column. It's in the first cell here of that entire range you gave me. If I pick, let's pick the eggplant. If I pick the eggplant, it should say the number 4. All right, and it does. Now let's go back to the spy guy here. The index function, which I'm going to write below this so you can see how it works. Index will pull in a range of cells, depending on some criteria, like if you want whatever column or rows you specify to start that range. So this is going to say, what data do you want me to pull in here? And I want you to pull in all of this data from here and going very far over to the right and maybe further down if you have longer lists. So we could say, pull in the data from A2 to all the way to Z. All right, so we make this really large range here. And I'm just going to put zeros in here so you can see for this row and column offsets. I'm just going to put zeros in here for both of them so you can see how it works. All right, so basically it just pulled in exactly what we saw in these lists. All right. What I wanted to do is I only wanted to pull in this column for the spy guy. So when I go to my index function and I look here, I want the column, watch this, when I change this to the number 1, because I'm only concerned about the column. It actually pulls in exactly what I want it to do. And if I pulled in the number 4 here, remember the eggplant? It brings in close, field, happened. Let's go back over to here. That is the eggplant. So I don't want to have to keep changing this to a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take this match function. I'm going to copy this. And in this formula here, I'm going to replace this number 4 with that match function and then press enter. Okay. Now I don't want this in this B5. I actually want it to be here. So let's just cut that and paste it here. All right. And we could center align these. All right. So now if I change this, we have index match. If I change this to the eggplant, it now brings in the eggplant list. All right, let's change it back to the spy guy. What I want to do now is I want to copy this all the way over. So if I pick the teacup, the pizza, the eggplant, and so forth, it'll fill those in. All right. Looking at this function, I always wanted to reference A2 to Z in this list sheet. So I'm going to put in some $signs there to hold those references. All right. And in the match, I want that B2 to be adjusting for C2, D2, E2, F2. So I'm going to leave that. And I always want to reference this range as well. So let's put in some absolutes, the $signs there as well. All right, press enter. And now I can pull this fill handle over to the eggplant. And now I get my appropriate list. All right, if I want to do another list, I'll pull it over and select French fries. All right, and now when I publish this to the web, all right, I already published it, hit publish there, and I get the link. We'll see what this looks like. All right, so you can tell kids, hey, I need you to study the eggplant list or the French fry list. All right, let's go and add another list because you're at week 6 or whatever it is. All right, let's add the strawberry list. Copy the formula over. All right, and you can see here, let's go to the strawberry list just to verify. Dollar, laugh, picnic. All right, let's refresh. All right, and here you see the strawberry list.